Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from AstroladaOfficial, and today my guest is Krasi, who will lead us through the month of September with the eclipses coming. And she's even offering at the promotional price her reading about eclipses, how they will affect you, coupled with other transits, how they would affect you. You can check in the link below her promotion and reading if you'd like to connect with her. Hello, Krasi.
Hello, Wada. Hello, everyone. Yes, Wada, we all know the most important event of September are the two eclipses, the total lunar eclipse of 7th of September, and then we have the solar, which is on the 21st of September. What is really interesting and exceptional for this eclipse, especially I will emphasize what on the first one seems to be a little bit more impactful. It is the eclipse is quite long. It is the longest eclipse after 2022. Very long. And there is such
Like
belief.
pretty much 80-90% of people around the world will see it almost everywhere.
Also, this it's a total, yes, the shadow will be visible in Australia, Europe, Africa, west of North USA, East, South USA, almost everywhere, really. The second one is not so visible, but this one very, and takes really very, very long. There are differences from the different parts of the world, but it's a very long lasting eclipse. And the belief is that the longer the eclipse, the longer the influence later on. Of course, we take them as two, as a set, as a couple. The two eclipses always. This one is happening on the sidereal axis of Aquarius Leo, and very interesting, Wada, it is in the sacred degrees of Aquarius. And we can speak 1-2 minutes about this degree. But before telling you about the sacred degree, sacred is always something very unique, very special, obviously. And according to some ancient authors, the 21st degree of Aquarius is a sacred degree. And in astrology, we have only 7 such out of 360. So you've got 360 degrees and only 7 are sacred. So it's a very big deal. This is a very big deal. But what is more interesting, I checked what not exactly the same, but similar eclipse meant for us in 2006. And I noticed what the influence on the economy, on the world economy, is the most prominent factor. You could see back in 2006 something very like on global base what you could see. America didn't have economy growth, was stable. Europe had economy decay, tremendous. The economy of Europe was really affected in 2006 after these eclipses. Not only, but this is always a factor. Thirdly, which were the countries, the major powers in the world which had growth significant? Russia, China, India. And I think that we will be seeing, and we already see similar situation, very similar. And this started with March eclipses, which were on the same axis. So this is one point I want to make. Secondly, somehow this eclipse, because of the emphasis of Leo Aquarius, reminds me of France from Europe, which Europe will unfortunately have further economy decay. France will suffer a lot from this economy decay, but so this is one thing. Then, if we'll be looking from the Babylonian, the ways the Babylonians looked at eclipses, I know this is interesting for some people because it is not very common, approach to eclipses, but the ancients had their very specific. you hear. So it is, the months. First of all, there are many factors which we analyze. Some of them are post eclipse, so after the eclipse, which we cannot do now, of course, but next month for October, we can discuss what we saw. And I say to people, don't watch the eclipse. I know it's interesting. I know you want to see, and I want to try to see some signs, maybe better don't watch the eclipses, because I remember the 2 times when I watched the eclipses, I had misfortunate events in my life. So the eclipse is happening in this Babylonian month of Ulul, which month somehow is related to this area of the world, which is starting with Iran. So we may be again reminded a little bit on Iran. Um, then you have it is happening in a specific morning watch, which is again hitting the economy. It is the emphasis is economy. So this is another thing. Then, no, sorry, it's in the evening watch. It is economy, evening watch. Then you have the month of, I told you, the 14th lunar day. The 14th lunar day is again a link to when we split the world in specific portions. Is again hinting of Iran a little bit. Then the month when the eclipse is happening is showing that the eclipse will have influence on us for the next minimum 3 months and 10 days. So this is the Babylonian perspective. This is not complete. We can continue after we see which part of the moon will be darkened first, which will be the winds that will be blowing, and then we can, the color of the moon. I will not be watching, but I will see it after that, and then we will know more and we can give even further prediction. Also, we cannot expect eclipses to influence us overnight. You see, this has effect of next month or so. So this is about the first. Very briefly, the second eclipse is 21st of September. Again, very similar influences, and also it may a little bit hint on disease. They may eventually come up with another uh, attempt.
Oh,
They will
because
not manage.
in Virgo, because
Also,
then it's
yes,
opposite Saturn, exactly, opposite Saturn and
exactly.
Neptune.
This is one reason, and the second is the watch, which is when this is happening, is hinting of disease situation. Of course, when we are together as collective, when we're very, you know, have faith in ourselves, in the Creator. None of this will be. It's just to be careful a little bit. Indeed, this is about the eclipses. I like the fact that with the first, especially, Jupiter has harmonious aspect. This is quite helpful. So things will not really go so bad. Of course, this is happening also on the horoscope of Donald Trump, on his ascendant, descendant axis. But see, many people have Leo ascendants or Aquarius ascendants, or so we all will experience these energies, of course. And when we will be speaking now about the 12 ascendants, I will mention 2-3 words, of course, about every ascendant and how the eclipse will influence the horoscopes of people, because we'll be speaking not only about the eclipses, but the month of September in general. So you have also nice things. Venus will be also in Cancer. Venus is not so weak in Cancer. This feminine energy, Venus in Cancer. So I think nothing is really scary, but it is important to know that during eclipse months, this is my personal, maybe from experience, don't do important stuff. It doesn't matter where the eclipse falls in your horoscope. We need to be more careful. It is eclipse after all. We don't know everything about that, these energies. We don't know. We can't know. Right? It is darkening eclipse.
Yeah.
It can mean secrets for us or unexpected events. That's why during eclipse I try not to travel. I advise people to do the same, especially on the 7th, on the 21st, couple of days before, couple of days after. Be a little bit more careful. That's for sure. So this is what else is important, interesting for the month. Of course, but this is valid for a couple of days more. Mercury is still visible for another 2-3 days. You can see him early in the morning. You can use Mercury. In Leo, Mercury is not weak. Doesn't matter what is said. Mercury can be very bright, ideas bright, can bless many activities, intellectual, especially your enlightenment, and beautiful things. So during these 2-3 days, we can do writing work, people who write, who have media work, who wants to do, who teach others, who are searching for knowledge. So this could be something very, very good. So this is the positive thing also. This sextile between Jupiter, Mercury, and Sun. I think this is quite positive. Of course, in the meantime, Mars is invisible. He remains, invisible in Virgo. Um, Nothing really else so significant, I think, is happening on the sky apart from this.
Eclipses, yeah.
Yeah. Last month we were full with events. Jupiter Venus conjunction with Sirius, Neptune, Saturn, retrograde conjunction. We have many, many, many. Now the emphasis is on the eclipses.
I think also because it's on the axis of Virgo, the second eclipse, maybe something with workforce. You said like Virgo is disease, but it's also workforce. There'll be big changes happening around
Yes.
in those years.
Financial. And also, this is for me emphasis on finances mainly.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because some of the changes, like what's happening in Bulgaria, we certainly don't want. But I was thinking already Neptune Saturn conjunction, this major sextile which took place, like 4 sextiles on the sky just recently, means actually we're not left alone.
Yeah.
We have divine help, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. So actually things are good. One
Yeah,
time I was yes.
they're pretty compared to COVID times. This is what pretty it's been kind of decent year.
Yes, I think so.
Mhm.
So maybe we can start now with the 12 ascendants to see. I will emphasize on the eclipse in this reading because I know people maybe want to know more about this. Okay, what
Yes, please. Perfect.
Yes. So we will do this as usual. I say this for people who are new to listening to us. We are doing this from the two perspectives of the two astrologies, say both sidereal and tropical. So we are starting with people who have sidereal ascendant Aries or moon in Aries. For the modern tropical astrology, this will be Taurus. Now for you, first if we speak about indeed about the eclipse, it will fall the first and the second, but I feel that the first is a bit more important. Will happen on the axis of your 11th, 5th houses. Quite important, especially when Rahu, the lunar node, the head of the dragon, is in your 11th house, you may experience short delay and late, and after that changes, most probably good, not necessarily bad, related to finances, to social circle, to your social work. So there you may have delay and later on opening on new opportunities. Be in the meantime diplomatic with friends, with connections, with attentive with children. So this is very important because of the eclipse. The second eclipse is emphasizing a little bit on your routine, on health. This is 21st, so be more responsible for your health and specifically avoid initiatives which involve new projects, financial ideas. Wait a little bit and do your things after the eclipses. Then you will have more clarity. You will know which direction to take, what is happening, and so. Also, in the meantime, the Sun and Mercury in your 5th house actually, this is not bad for you. Could be also opening with the activation of the eclipse for new ideas, new talented work, new projects, and so. Venus is blessing you from your 4th house. She's blessing your home. She's blessing even your work, career. And Jupiter is also giving harmonious aspect to your relationships, also to your ascendant. So I think you're very protected, nothing to worry about. But indeed, this month of September is not so appropriate for certain new beginnings. Now we're looking at people who have sidereal ascendant Taurus or moon in Taurus. And for modern tropical astrology, this would be Gemini. For you, starting with the eclipse, it will happen on the axis of your 10th and 4th houses. This is immediately involving career, highest goals, rank, your housing, your home, property. In these areas of your life, you need to be a little bit more careful. You may experience more delay, especially in your career place. Be diplomatic, be patient, be careful. And you see after these energies are over, especially after month of September, you have totally new plans, visions, clarity on career, but also on housing, relocations, property, and so. In the meantime, the Jupiter is creating harmonious aspect to your fourth house. So even if you feel a little bit temporarily delayed or blocked in these areas of your life, which I just mentioned, you still have the blessing of Jupiter. He will be blessing also your finances. Venus is giving also very good aspect in blessing yourself to feel well, your relationships, your romantic life, business, and so. The second eclipse is on the axis of 11th to 5th houses. Be a little bit more attentive with children, and um, especially also related to new financial ideas, projects. Be a little bit more intuitive and wait, because other energies will be shown to you after the eclipses are over. Now we look at people who have Sidereal ascendant Gemini or moon in Gemini. For modern tropical astrology, this is Cancer. For you, the first more important, impactful eclipse is happening on the axis of your 9th, 3rd houses. So during the month of September, you may experience more delay, and later on, the energies again will speed up, or you have clarity on matters like education, studies, media work, traveling abroad. So if you feel a little bit delayed in your studies, media work, international communication, relationships, also your, let's say, yes, studies mainly, philosophical work, philosophy. It means if you experience delay there is because certain changes will happen. So be a little bit patient. With these placements, I would be careful when traveling, when choosing study. Things will get better, but September is not the most appropriate moment for studies. In the meantime, Jupiter is blessing your ascendant, so will be the whole month of September. Venus is helping your finances, indeed. The second eclipse on the 21st is affecting the area of your fourth, of course, and 10th houses. So matters involving housing, relocations, also will need a little bit of patience because you may be temporarily delayed. But Venus is blessing your finances. Jupiter on your ascendant is very helpful, so don't worry so much. Now we look at people who have Sidereal ascendant Cancer or moon in Cancer for modern tropical astrology. This is Leo. Venus is on your ascendant. She will be very helpful. She will be giving you feeling of well-being. She will be supporting also your romantic life. She's protecting you. The eclipse is happening on axis of second, 8th houses, specifically involving the 8th. So be a little bit, how to say, when it comes to finances in general, be a little bit careful. Don't make impulsive financial decisions, which may involve finances from unexpected sources, insurances, inheritances, and I don't know what more, but also finances of partner or from your entrepreneurship, from your business. There you may have small delay because changes will come. Changes will be introduced. So September wouldn't be the most appropriate moment for important new beginnings. Also, the second part of September, be a little bit more careful when you negotiate, when you choose study, and when you travel. So this is, and the visible Mercury for a couple of days more will support your finances. Let's look at people who have Sidereal ascendant Leo or Moon in Leo for modern tropical astrology. This would be Virgo. For you, the eclipses involving your ascendant, especially the first eclipse, the lunar one, is involving your ascendant, your descendant. Be a little bit more patient with your partner. More also in your business, you may experience more delay, but this is temporary. Don't worry so much. You experience delay because later some new beginnings will be shown to your new opportunities. So September is a month of to be a little bit patient. In the meantime, Jupiter makes good aspects, not of course very strong Jupiter because he's in Gemini, but still harmoniously he's aspecting the ascendant. Venus is supporting your health, helping your also when it comes to, she can be very helpful when it comes to enemies. She can bring peace really and supporting your health. This is very important. So don't worry so much that the eclipse involves your business relationships. Just be very spiritual, very patient, and you will see much more after September. And now let's look at people who have Sidereal ascendant Virgo or Moon in Virgo. For modern tropical astrology, this would be Libra. For you, the second eclipse is on your ascendant. The last from this series, really. So you will feel relief after September. But the first one, the total lunar eclipse, is involving the axis of your routine, health. So be responsible for your health, especially for some sharp conditions like flu, cold. Be a little bit careful. Also, try not to be easily involved in conflict, in situations, in disputes. This is also important. So during this month of September, try not to, to get involved in risky situations of any, conflicts, routine matters. I would even avoid doing, like if you have something to do something with institutions, also, I would wait for October. But in general, Jupiter is on your 10th house. He's not very powerful, but he supports your career. He supports your growth. Venus also supports your gains. They are not very powerful where they are, but they are protecting you in a very kind way. And also, Venus is supporting your finances and children. Now let's look at people who have Sidereal ascendant Libra or Moon in Libra. For the modern tropical astrology, this would be Scorpio. For you, the first total lunar eclipse is happening on the axis of 11th, 5th houses of yours. So there, this is especially emphasis on the 5th house, which is about creative work, talented work, children, joy. You may feel that you are a little bit like stagnation, like a little bit of slowdown in your lack of muse, or some matters will have delay. They might be financial. You may experience this. You may need to be a little bit more attentive with your children. Month of September may not be very good for new projects, new financial plans, new ideas. Be also careful and patient with friends, with people who are your like connections, people who are in your friendship circle, for example. Be a little bit more patient. Jupiter is protecting you by trine. Venus is giving good aspects from your 10th house. She's blessing your career, but also when it comes to financial decisions, you may need to be a little bit more careful. And after the second part of the month, be more responsible for your health. Let's look now at people who have Sidereal ascendant Scorpio or Moon in Scorpio. For the modern tropical astrology, this would be Sagittarius. For you, the axis of eclipse of the first eclipse, the total lunar eclipse is on the 10th and 4th houses. Small delay related to property, real estate business, or business at home, or relocation, or you may feel that you're renovating your house, but suddenly there is delay. This is possible. Later, things will get better, but during especially the first part, or maybe the whole month of September, you may experience such delay. After the second part of September, you may be a little bit more cautious with children, friendships, your social circle. And when you make financial decisions, try not to be impulsive. And this is not really month, especially the second part of the month, but also the first, but more the second part of the month. It's not appropriate for new projects, new career, new plans. This is the thing. Venus is creating harmonious aspect to your ascendant, protecting you, protects also some travel if you want. And Jupiter is actually also having a very good role in your eighth house to support a little bit more the finances from unexpected sources, to support the finances of your partner, and also to help you, to give you protection in your sleep, or to help you fight matters like worries, anxieties. And so Jupiter can be very positive there for you. And now let's look at people who have Sidereal ascendant Sagittarius or Moon in Sagittarius for modern tropical astrology. This is Capricorn. So the first total lunar eclipse on the 7th is taking place on the axis of ninth, third houses of yours with special emphasis on the third house. And there you may need to be more patient with brothers and sisters because this can activate a little bit of situation there. Matters related to study, you may have delay or disappointment in some studies, some classes. With neighbors, this may cause issue. But this is also temporary, and also some studies indeed. You may experience temporarily delay, but later on, after these energies are gone, you have clarity. You will know what philosophy is yours, which study is for you. And of course, in the meantime, yes, be patient with brothers and sisters, neighbors, and so on. Now, the second eclipse is on, especially consider second part of September. The second eclipse is involving especially the 10th house. So be careful in your career place. The month is not so appropriate for any matters involving career, new projects. And be patient with superiors in the meantime. And Jupiter is giving very good aspect to your 7th house, supporting business and blessing your relationships. Now we look at people who have Sidereal ascendant Capricorn or moon in Capricorn for modern tropical astrology. This is Aquarius. For you, the eclipse is involving axis of second, 8 houses with emphasis on the second. This would say that especially when it comes to finances, you may need to be a little bit more careful. Well, also, you may need to be careful and not impulsive when you make financial decisions. In general, in September, I would delay important financial decisions because of this involvement of the second house. Also, relationship with family, roots, family members. Also, there, be patient with such people, with these people. Later on, things will be very clear in October. The the second eclipse is with emphasizing on your ninth house. So the second part of September, be a little bit more careful when you are traveling. When you study, maybe you feel a little bit annoyed. Maybe you experience temporarily some disharmony in the studying process. Uh, this is temporarily. After September, you have clarity. You know what you want to study, which philosophy you want to follow, and so. But in general, Venus is supporting your 7th house, supporting your relationship, business, romantic life, and so. So there is always the helping hand. And now we look at the people who have Sidereal ascendant Aquarius or Moon in Aquarius for modern tropical astrology. This is Pisces. For you, the eclipses involving your ascendant-descendant axis with emphasis on your ascendant. So you particularly may need to be a little bit more like if you're planning things now, new projects, work, ideas, plans, you will see that later, after September, things may take totally different direction. I noticed this. So in September, try to be a little bit more not so active in many areas of your life, because after the eclipse you may change your mind or your plans. Also be a little bit more patient with your partner, and patient when it comes to developments in business. Things may also experience more delay. Also financially, especially after the second part of the month. So remember, this is not forever. This situation is affecting your horoscope only temporarily. So September is a month for a little bit more low profile, but your health is supported by Venus, and Jupiter is certainly giving you good luck. And now the last one, Pisces, Sidereal Pisces, Tropical Aries. Now for you, the eclipse, the second eclipse is happening in your seventh house. So after 15th of September, be more careful with your partner. Try to be a patient, diplomatic, and also in business. The first eclipse is involving the axis of 12, 6 houses, involving with emphasis on the 12th. Be responsible with your health and hidden enemies. Be a little bit careful with people, with your trust. And also try not to get involved in conflicting, risky situations. Venus is placed in your fifth house, creative study, creative knowledge, also finances, and also Jupiter has very helpful role in the fifth house to support your parents and home. So there is always this helping hand, and we're completing with this WADA.
Thank you so much, Krasi.
My
I'm sorry.
pleasure.
Thank you through leading us through the eclipses of September. Thank you, everyone, for joining us again. If you'd like to contact Krasi, there is a link below. I'm putting a link in the description below for her discounted reading focused on eclipses and how they will personally affect